In this episode of the Orange Nerd Show, we were talking about Disney Plus. You know, Disney wants to put gaming and shopping on the streamer. We're going to break that down, talk about what that might exactly mean. Also, Illumination's migration is not tracking so hot at the box office. Is this a creative problem with these studios, with Disney, with Wish, and what have you? Or is it more of an animation problem? Have families decided to kind of opt out of the theater experience when it comes to animation? We're going to talk about it up next. We got the boys from the Bad Thoughts podcast here to join us today on Orange Nerd. Welcome aboard to another episode of Orange Nerd, where we talk about everything except the theme park. Today, we're talking about the streamer. We're talking about possibly bringing games and shopping to that. We're also going to talk about animation at the box office. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce the Italiano. The Italiano looking like Top Gun Maverick over here, or Goose with his glasses. George, I want to thank you so much for coming on as always, sir. If you let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. You could find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Yeah, buddy.
There we go. And right down below, we got the one and only Tonez. Tonez, welcome back, brother.
Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, if you guys want to find me at Tonez_TV on all platforms, and then follow me and the Candid Campers podcast. The what's our podcast called? Bad Thoughts Podcast. Find us at Bad Thoughts Podcast on Spotify and YouTube.
Absolutely. And I will be linking their content down below. So make sure you check them out, support them, subscribe to them, follow them on X and all platforms. And right there, last but certainly not least, we got the one and the only Candid Camper. Welcome back, brother. Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, definitely appreciate you guys having me again. Yeah, you can find the Candid Camper on YouTube. You find me at the Candid Camper on X, and then the Candid Camper with the extra R on IG.
There you go. You heard the man. You heard the man. We'll give him one more. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
There we go. All right, let's get the party started. Okay, so this is actually kind of interesting, right? So Disney Plus is considering adding gaming and shopping experiences for advertisers. Okay, so it says here that Disney is mulling the launch of shopping and gaming experiences on the streaming outlet, with which advertisers could get involved. According to Rita Farrow, president of Disney Advertising and Sales, quote, "The world of advertising experience on AVOD is an important place to be involved in for our hotel's variety," hinting that a new presentation Disney has slated for Las Vegas on January 10th would reveal, quote, "the next level of ad innovations will be," quote, "from the company." Tonez, what are your thoughts on this, man? Like, so taking Disney Plus and possibly adding games and shopping to it. Like we were kind of brainstorming a little bit before the show. This seems kind of crazy, right? Like what you're a gamer. What do you think, brother?
So I was, when I first read games, I wasn't assuming they were going to put the actual games that they, own or made on the platform. I just think there's too many, people involved when it comes to their video games. Putting it on their platform would just be weird, in my opinion, just because there's so many people that are used to where they get their games at and they could just download it. Like if you go to a PlayStation, you download it on the PlayStation Store. Like most people aren't going to go to the Disney Plus and download a video game. But sure. I initially took this as they were going to put a streaming platform on Disney. Now, if they did something in that nature, I think it would change the game as far as streaming, video game streaming, because Twitch and, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, those are big platforms for streamers who stream video games, but they all have their huge flaws. Now, if Disney were to see their flaws and make their own version of it, they can perfect something that's not perfected at the moment. Like Twitch, let's just take Twitch for instance. Twitch has I think it's like a 70-40 split or 60-40 split of revenue that people donate to your channel. Like say if I got a sub, it was $5.99, Twitch gets 60 or 70% of that sub and you get the 40. So it's and Kick on the other hand, they take a 90, I think it's like 90-10 or 95-5, and
wow.
but the streamer gets the 95 as far, and then Kick only gets that 5 or 10%. So there are certain flaws in each streaming platforms where they can perfect it and make it something that they can get a lot of content creators, a lot of people who perfect in gaming streaming can make it part of their brand, part of Disney, and even have bigger audience from them and possibly get, Disney more money or whatever the case may be. But it can boost Disney in that kind of aspect, because that's something that people don't refer to gaming and Disney much. They do a little bit, but not too much. So that's what I took from this article.
Let me ask you something.
100%.
How do you keep it gaming? Because I know when I go on Twitch, I mean, how many people are actually gaming versus doing?
Well, that exactly. If like for Twitch and like Kick, you get these weird people streaming whatever the hell they want. If they just strictly keep it gaming, they can do something a little bit different from what these other platforms are doing. Like YouTube does a very good job. I don't see much of what we see on Kick and Twitch on YouTube, but they also have those flaws that YouTube misses a lot of their there's a lot of things that they don't use like Twitch does. That's a lot easier for the viewer to interact with the streamer. So if they put that kind of aspect, and then what Twitch is missing in this and what Kick's missing in this, they can perfect something like really really unique. And I think that's a way they should go. Go.
But if you know anything about Disney and their apps and how long it takes them to perfect pretty much anything, then I don't see this happening for a long time. And on top of that, what arsenal of games are they going to be using? Are they going to partner up with like Epic so they can get Fortnite and kids games, Minecraft, with Microsoft? Like, what are we doing here? Do you get an Xbox controller and that connects through Bluetooth? There's a lot of different variables, or anything that can happen. I just don't see it being as smooth as. I just don't see it being smooth. I really don't. A lot of people tried this for a long time, and it's still not all the way there. Sony with their PlayStation, with that new little handheld they came out with that can, mirror an image from your PlayStation 5 to your handheld. It took them X amount of years just to come up with that, and that's based off your internet. So, streaming-wise, I don't see this going to last. I can see the merchandise stuff happening, especially if it's going to be based off of the Disney Store. And all you have to do is just click in, and it brings you to a browser to view their whole Disney Store product. Oh yeah, that's going to sell. And you're going to have those kids that actually buy things on their parents' credit cards. It's going to work out.
On the parents' credit card. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. George, Mr. Italiano, what do you think, brother?
I mean, I can understand Disney's strategy as if they were to go about doing this. I think the streaming service is hitting hard right now with like subscribers and views and you trying to get people to stay on the platform. But for me personally, I think it's just going to be overabundance of what really that the streaming service was meant for. I think it's something where I don't think it's really in a sense necessary, because there's not too many games, like as far as in the Disney bracket that can withhold that, unless they kind of go out of what Candid was saying, if they partner up with other companies
like a Minecraft,
to get like
Minecraft,
like Fortnite, what have you. But I don't know if Disney wants to go that route, and
it's a waste of money at that point.
Yeah, if anything, I think they would be kind of losing money in that sense. Now, to the other part of the equation, when you think of merchandise, now that can kind of go a little bit more for Disney's favor, because, you know, especially when you're adding consumer products into pretty much anything that's a tentpole of the Walt Disney Company. You know, you have Shop Disney, which is already, they have a separate app and website specifically for that. They could tie that to the streaming service. You know, there's a plethora of other ways that they can add the merchandise. As far as the gaming goes, like Disney does have a lot of hard-hitting games as far as like with the Kingdom Hearts franchise, which they'll be releasing. I don't know. They don't have a specific date for Kingdom Hearts 4. That's already in the workings with their partner with Square Enix. But I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, yeah, one could say you have like all the Star Wars franchise and what have you, but I don't think it's enough to withhold a whole section on the streaming service.
I think you're right. I think you gentlemen are absolutely right with, like, I think the shopping, there's more potential there, right? So let's say you drop, you know, the new movie Wish, right? That the you know, Wish drops on Disney Plus, let's say on January 1st. So you can drop the movie and then you can have a link to the merch. So you can buy your cute little star plushie and your cute little whatever. And so it's all in the app, right? So you can watch the movie and buy the merch while you're watching the movie. I think there's more potential there. I think that's kind of more on brand with Disney, you know, and what they do. I think that I can see more potential there than the gaming. Disney has tried the gaming thing a lot, like over the years, and it's never really, it's one area, one industry that they really never caught fire with. Now, maybe they'll finally crack the code and they'll do it. We'll see. But I'm kind of with you, Candid. I think that you know, they don't have the best track record when it comes to like the tech and stuff, right? I mean, they kind of, it's a little glitchy. Now, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. We'll see, you know. I don't know. But and the other thing too is like, what kind of games are they going to be? You know, like, is it going to be like app games? Because app games would make sense because, you know, if you have an iPad or if you're on your phone, you can do like, you know, Angry Birds, you know, Disney edition or whatever. And I can see that. But if you're going to have games like Star Wars Battlefront, well, you're going to need a controller for that. So is Disney going to like sell you like a Disney Plus controller?
Now, can I ask you fellas this? Maybe you know, because I don't really know. I don't game as much as I used to in my youth. But just recently, the PS5 released the new Avatar, the Frontier in Pandora or something like that. I don't know the full title of it though. But I don't know how it is out there. But over here, it was so high in demand that our local GameStop shops stopped selling it digitally and with the disc actually in the shop itself. So with that demand and everything, now with that being Avatar, is that still tied to Disney because Disney acquired Fox, or does that have something that has nothing to do with because of the gaming license?
Well, it's probably, yeah, well, it is Disney. Disney gets some percentage of that because it's Avatar. That's their property.
But I mean, like, as far as like if they were to take the game, if they wanted to say, hey, we wanted to add this to the streaming.
Yeah, Ubisoft made the game, so I believe it was Ubisoft. They would have to pay probably the rights to them or have some kind of contract with them. You gotta remember too, that game, you would have to have a console to play it because streaming wise, your system wouldn't be able to actually do that.
See, that's what confuses it just confuses me what they mean by streaming off like a video game, because
like, do they mean that you could actually play it on the streaming service, or does that mean you could actually buy it, download it on the streaming service, and it transfers over to your console?
Either way, it'd be a terrible idea, because there's only certain spots you buy video games. Like maybe on PC it would be a little bit different, but
like you're
it's
still going through Stream or not Stream. What is it?
Like Steam.
Steam, thank you. Yeah.
So for instance, George, for PlayStation players or Xbox console players in general, they have to go to their specific store, the Xbox store or PlayStation store, to acquire these games. You don't go to, Disney to download this game, or Ubisoft to download this game.
But do you think that's is that what Disney's trying to do?
I don't think so.
We're all speculating. And by the way, OG, when it says advertisers, what are they specifying or who are they talking to exactly?
Okay, so it says here
advertisers. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think they mean like advertisers will have the opportunity to sell ads on these games, possibly.
Yeah.
It says here, advertisers have eyed the Disney Plus streaming hub as a place where they might tuck a promotional message alongside the binge watch of a Marvel series or potentially Phineas and Ferb. Soon, however, Madison Avenue may have some other opportunities to consider. So it seems like it's just basically telling advertisers like, hey, well, maybe if we have like
so that seems more like like in-app gameplay, like
that's
on
exactly
phone.
what I was gonna say.
That's what that sounds like.
Yep, I think OG hit it on the head with that one, and we're gonna get ads added to this at some point. Which I mean, that's how Disney's gonna make extra money on the platform too.
I just
I don't like it. I do like I think the merchandise can go well, but as far as the gaming goes, I think that's going to make Disney kind of lose money on
the merchandise thing though. If Disney wants to sell more merchandise, stop making your shipping $75 to hit free shipping. Just saying, and I don't need to buy $75 worth of stuff. Sometimes I just want to buy that $10 $10 towel that's on sale.
Like, I mean, I do agree, but honestly, even because I'm in the same thing, Hallmark is the same way. You have to actually, and they actually upped it. It used to be, I think it started out at 25, then went to 50, and now is at 75.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Be a good idea is, I don't know if you guys watch YouTube on your phone, but even on computer, but when you watch the video and if that particular YouTuber has a merch that they want to sell, it's under the thing and it has $10 for the shirt, cup. So I believe if they do it that way, they're gonna have that like little side portion of this is for sale, this is for sale, click this to get this shirt or whatever. That's a way they could go. I think that would be a little easier for the consumer to interact with something like that
and just pop it up periodically through the show or through the movie.
Oh man, that would drive me nuts. That would drive me nuts. I hate that shit because I get all that even on my phone when I'm trying to watch something and you get all these fucking ad things that pop up. It's like I'm trying to look at the screen. I don't want to read your
sriracha videos and you get interrupted.
Yeah, sriracha. Yeah, exactly. No, it's so funny. Yeah, no, I mean that would. Yeah, I can see that. Like Tonez, I think you're right though. Like I have a Teespring store for the channel.
Exactly.
And when you watch my videos down below, it'll show you like you can buy shirts, hats, whatever. It's probably going to be something similar to that. And Disney will probably cater the merchandise depending on what you're watching. So if you're watching a Marvel movie, they're not going to try to get you to buy Rapunzel stuff, right? The merch down below will probably be, Captain America shit or whatever. It's potentially a moneymaker. They're trying everything they can to make streaming profitable, is what it seems like to me.
Do you see a tier system coming into play?
In what way? What do you mean by that?
So, say you're the regular Plus member, you get what you get now, and then if you become like a Plus members using terms, you'll get the Hulu and added into that, even though it's in beta. And then if you're a Plus, you get Hulu and the gaming, and you might get free shipping on your merchandise.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. What about this? Like, as much as people love Disneyland, why don't they ever put like, hey, if you're a top tier of, you get Hulu, Disney, the gaming, streaming, you get all of it, plus you get like $10 off your next purchase for a ticket or something at Disneyland. Right. Something to symbolize
tie it in together.
Disneyland. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be cool. That would be a way they might want to think about going.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can even bundle that into like the Magic Key program, right? Like
that. Yeah, so exactly.
Like, right, for your annual pass, if you want to up it, you want to do the Disney Plus add-on. They can charge you a certain amount.
Which is actually quite interesting because Disney has kind of dipped their toes in that a little bit. Like, sort of, if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, I believe they did something with your percentage off your hotel stay the next time if you did like a Walt Disney World package or what have you. So it would be kind of interesting if they reversed it a little bit. Like if you did something, as you said, Tones, like with Disney Plus, then yeah, maybe it can do something, for the parks.
And that's the frustrating thing for me for Disney too, is because it's like they have so many opportunities with this stuff, man. It's like crazy how advantaged they are. and I feel like they don't take enough advantage of this stuff, right? Like it's just like, gosh, you guys have so much there you could play with, and they just kind of.
And it took us 20 minutes to come up with a bunch of good ideas.
Yep.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about Comcast too. I feel like Comcast has a huge advantage in a lot of things, and they just kind of just do whatever the hell they want to do. That has nothing to do with making money.
Honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you. All these corporate assholes do the same thing.
Right?
That's all they do. Honestly, they get their 6 figures a year. They have their suits and ties sitting in their leather chairs and a big board table, looking all pretty. You know, trying to get, you know, the mayonnaise off their ties, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, let's just do this, and they don't really sit and think about it. It's like,
no. And the weird thing is, I want to spend money.
Right.
Like, just make it easy for me to do that. Don't make it hard. Don't make me jump through 50 fucking loops. Don't give me 10 apps to do that. Like, come on, man. Get my shit in one spot.
I think that's where they're going to lose people if they do 10 apps or, you know, something ridiculous where they put too many apps. People are just going to get lost. Be like, fuck this. I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how
you gotta make it
Hulu.
simple. Yeah. And there's so many times, dude, like I'll be at the parks or even on the Shop Disney app, right? Like what George was talking about. And I'll be like, I have like a Disney gift card or something. And I'm trying to spend money, Disney. I'm trying to spend money. And I literally can't find anything to spend money on. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's crazy, right? Like you literally have money to burn and you just can't find anything, you know? I mean,
what I can't stand is like when you're in the middle of shopping online. I'm not just saying Shop Disney. I'm just saying anything. Yeah. And then you get this little pop-up thing that's saying, how's your experience? Well, bitch, I'll tell you what my experience is after I'm done shopping. It's like, can I shop first without you jumping down my throat? How's your experience with this app? How's your like?
Yeah, well, it's like the that see, and this, we're going off on a tangent, but that's okay. I mean, I like when we kind of do this sometimes. That's what I hate about DoorDash, to be honest with you, because they force you to tip before you get your food. Like it's part of like when you order your food, they make you choose a tip like right there.
So does Uber Eats.
And so does Uber Eats. So what's the incentive for this person to like do a good job? They already got their money. They got paid. You already tipped them. So it's like... And
if you don't tip, what happens? Your food either shows up hella late, half-eaten, right, or there's fucking has shit in it. So it's like a weird... It gets fucked up. I feel you.
It's messed up, man. You can't win with that stuff, man. And it's like I go through all the time because I like DoorDash because it's convenient. Like I don't want to have to go and drive and the whole thing. But like at the same time, it's kind of a pain in the ass because it's like when you tip in advance like that, they don't really care. And I'll look on the app and it'll be like, oh, he has 3 stops before he gets to my house. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get soggy cold ass fries. Thank you, appreciate that. And I gave you a tip. That's awesome. You know, it's like.
Kind of to wrap this all up, I kind of want to get Candid's input, but when it comes to gaming, do you think they should do something like we're speculating they're going to do with the video games, or do you think they should just leave it where it's at?
I don't think they should do gaming at all. I think they should just stick to the merch for sure.
Yeah.
I think the gaming thing is just going to be a waste of money, waste of time. It's going to fall flat in their face. And
now, what about the streaming aspect of it? Do you think they should kind of look into doing something like that?
If they stream, I can see them streaming the old like Sega games and Nintendo games that they had, like the Lion King, the Aladdin game, the Gargoyles.
No, not those kind of streaming. That I agree with. I like that idea.
But those are easy to stream too.
Yeah, as far as like streaming, like streamers streaming video games, that kind of direction.
I don't think so. Having children, I don't want my children around that, especially because how are you gonna enforce people not to do things? And even if you are
language and stuff,
all that, because I know it slips up. And not only that too, Twitch used to be just gamers, and look how that evolved. And I'm using Twitch as the key culprit to all this because they allow it to happen, even though it's in their guidelines not to allow it to happen. And then they ban people for like a day, and then the person comes back and does it again. So I can't see Disney sitting there and clicking people on and off. And not only that too, now you're gonna have these kids that are gonna want to stream, and they get on there. Then you have all these fucking creepy ass motherfuckers out there trying to get on this stream, on a Disney, on these kids thing. And I just don't see that happening, man. There's too many red flags that can be thrown up with something like that.
Yeah, I would agree with you, man. There's a lot of red flags. There are a lot of potential for some bad shit.
And Disney's already going through a lot of shit right now. that I don't think they really need anything more on their plate.
Yeah, no, 100%. So let's dive into this, man. This is interesting because I think this I kind of want to talk about this next topic because I feel like there's something going on with animation, right? So Disney's Wish is dying a dog's death at the box office, like bad, right? Really bad. We'll see how it does on Disney Plus. It'll probably do really good on Disney Plus because I think that's what everyone's waiting for. DreamWorks Kraken, I forgot the whole name, but it's Kraken something. It's like about a movie about like sea monkeys or something. I don't remember. That movie died a dog's death at the box office.
Is that the one with the teenage? I'm a teenage Kraken or something weird.
Yeah. Okay. That's the one, right? That's the one. And so now we got this migration movie about the ducks, and it's coming in really soft. I think it opened to $6 million in the first 18 markets. That's nothing. I mean, that's really bad. But even stateside at the U.S., I think it's only projected to make like, I think 13 million the opening weekend, which is really bad, right? So my question to you, gentlemen, I'll start with you, Tonez. Like, do you think, because we have had some hits, though, to be fair, like Super Mario Brothers was $1 billion movie. That was massive. We got this movie from Hayao Miyazaki, The Boy and the Heron, opens at #1 in the U.S. with 12 million. Now, look, I mean, it's only 12 million, but I mean, this anime movie is basically just $1 million shy of this mainstream, Illuminations movie coming out next weekend or whatever it is, or in 2 weeks, I think. What's going on with animation? Is it are families just getting more picky with what they're seeing in theater? Because if you have like 3 kids, so you got 3 kids, you got mom and dad, that's 5 people. It's super expensive. It might be better just to wait for the streaming service. Is that what's going on, or is the content getting worse and people are opting out? What are your thoughts on that, Tonez?
I think it's a mixture of both. My question is like the age window that you're hitting is a very small window. Most of these animation movies you're gonna get from maybe 1 to at the most 15, or maybe like 3 to 15 to people who would actually sit down and watch this. But after 15, it's just you get that high school age where kids don't want to watch animation movies, and then people after 18, you're not going to see people going by themselves, especially men in general, going by themselves to watch a movie like what's the
Wish.
Like Wish. Like in a way, I hate to say it, I'm not saying it is, but I hate to say it, people are going to look at you like, why is this creep here watching a kid's movie? You know what I'm saying?
I was wondering why all those eyes were on me like that.
and like I said, I'm not saying that's me. Like if I see someone who's actually interested in the movie, that's way different. But people think that way, like, hey, this guy looks creepy here at a fucking kids movie by himself.
So here's my take on it. I do understand what you're saying, Tonez, but the only reason why I slightly disagree with that is because when you look back at even all these other films, like when you take Up, Inside Out, The Incredibles, they all did phenomenal at the box office. So we could have easily said the same thing back then. So what is the difference from them to now? And this is where I was actually having this conversation with Michael Ebba on X. I kind of feel like it's a little bit of both notions, where I feel like if you take the Super Mario Brothers movie, it's an IP that in today's generation can relate to. They can recognize. There's a lot of gaming with Mario, even up, back, my time with the Super NES and what have you. Then you move into the N64, and now you have like with the Mario Kart and the Paper Mario and all that stuff. So it's a character that has continued on through generation, where essentially, the dads, the uncles, the nephews, everybody can recognize Mario. So it's almost like, okay, so when they say, okay, we're going to make a movie about Mario, there goes that instant connection of saying, ooh, that's probably going to be a banger of a film, whether it's animated or not.
Or even Spider-Verse. You're talking about,
right,
like,
exactly.
I think it's like a 70-year-old character in Spider-Man or something. Like, I don't know the exact age, but yeah.
But then when you take an original film, even though us as Disney fans or as creatives, we say, oh, we want to see original content. We want to see something brand new. But the majority of just everyday normies, they couldn't give two shits. It's something that would recognize to them to say, ooh, I'll pay money to get my butt in that seat. Whereas if you take a movie, just to say, even though I loved Wish, I loved the style of animation and what have you, but it's nothing that this generation can then say, okay, it's an original movie, but I'm going to skip it. I'm not going to see it in theaters. Where with Super Mario Brothers, and as you said, OG, even with Spider-Verse, it's something that'll draw you to say, ooh, you know what? I've invested so much over the years within this character. It has to be a good movie.
Yeah.
Then the other aspect of it is, for me, when you go back into watching Disney animation and Pixar animation, DreamWorks animation, Illumination's animation, they all had their individual style of animation. Everything now is exactly the same kind of animation. You can't differentiate a Disney animated to a Pixar to an Illuminations to a DreamWorks. It all has like this kind of weird, zany, kind of slapsticky type of animation where it's not crisp, it's not clean, and that's how you could even reflect the box office even back then. When you look at a Disney animated film, such as Frozen or Tangled, it's like, okay, with that type of animation style, it drew in the numbers. When you took a Pixar film, as I mentioned, like with Inside Out, Up, The Incredibles, it was that particular style, it brought in money. You took an animated movie like Freebirds or Turbo or even the Disney Toon Studios of Planes, they all bombed. And it's because if you actually look at the animation style of those, they weren't that appealing to look at. But right. It's the animation now that looks like that. It's like, it's not just here or there, where actually, believe it or not, I think the reason why the Hayao Miyazaki film is doing big numbers is right now in today's time era, anime is like the thing. Like, my son is into it. Like, he loves Demon Slayer. Like, I took him to go see it. It was just an episode of the new season of Demon Slayer. They premiered it in our movie theater. And I thought, who in the hell? And I paid money for it. And it was like, don't ask me why. But my son wanted to do it, so I thought, I'll do it for him. That theater was fucking packed for one episode of the new season of Demon Slayer. So, and I'm like...
Yeah, real quick, George, sorry to interrupt. I have to say this. What I was going to say was the anime is taking over as far as that, that style of movies, TV show, whatever. Anime is the way to go. It's just what people watch more. Animation is, I think animation is taking that stone wall of generation where people are kind of leaning towards anime rather than animation, and you'll only get the original movies like Toy Story or what's the Wish, you're saying, like, you get the original movies that people know. Okay, I know Mario, I'm gonna go watch this Mario. But Migration, I've never heard of Migration until the movie.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So people are gonna be like, I'll wait till, something new, no one's ever heard of it, I'll wait till it comes out on Disney Plus.
Right.
Now, if this movie's really good and people love it, Migration 2 comes out, we're gonna be singing a different tune because people are gonna be at the movie, movies watching it because Migration was good.
Yeah.
So that's
no, 100% Tonez. And yeah, anime is where it's at. Like, Japan is crushing it right now. I think Asia in general right now is actually better in terms of entertainment than us. Like, I've been really into like K-pop, believe it or not. And I think their production value with their music is way more creative than anything we see here in the States. You see it with animation in Japan. They're just killing us over here. They produce a much better product. At least right now they are, Also, I do think that, like, here's the other thing too, because a lot of people kind of blame like the Wish thing and like the Disney animation kind of like stumble on like the Disney being woke. I don't really think it's that, to be honest, because if it was that, then I don't think you would see all these other studios kind of struggling in the same field. Like we are seeing, you know, like the Kraken movie, which was a DreamWorks film. I mean, no one thinks DreamWorks is woke, you know. Migration isn't exactly tracking with bananas numbers. You know, I mean, it's not doing really fantastic. That's Illumination. You know, these other studios are also seeing problems here. I don't think it's really like a political thing or a woke thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that there's
the animation thing.
It's the animation.
Right. It's the animation thing. And I think people are like just really selective right now because like, hey, in 3 months it'll be on a streamer and I don't have to pay $100 and some odd bucks to take all my kids to go see it in the theater. So we'll save that money like when a big one comes out, like when Mario comes out, or, you know, I'm sure Frozen 3 is going to do bonkers numbers. Things like that will make the money in theaters. But these little movies, these original films, not really. You know, Elemental was really good. I actually really enjoyed that movie, but you know, as good as it did, it kind of legged out, but it wasn't like a huge blockbuster hit.
And I think Elemental would have done much better. I think Disney didn't market it well. I think if Disney would have marketed that film the way that they should have, I think that would have done much better. Because the type of animation, along with the storyline, I actually enjoyed Elemental. It kind of took me back to that original core Pixar feel that I haven't had in a while. Now, it's like that Kraken movie. You look at that type of animation, it looks like the same kind of animation as Strange World. You would never differentiate. I mean, are all these animators getting together from all these different companies going to lunch and like comparing notes or something? Because it's like, it all looks this one and the same to me.
Here's the other thing that people have to consider, and I've talked to Jay Shear about this, and I think even you, George, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone wants Disney to bring the budget down, and I agree. I think Disney has to bring these budgets down. $200 million to make Wish or any of these animated movies is way too high. But
Wish was $200 million.
$200 million. Thomas.
And this was where I was going to go.
What?
Yes.
These films that Illumination does, they stay within like $60 to $80 million on these budgets, unless you're doing like Mario, where I think Mario was like what $100 million for that. So, I mean, they did it with Gru and all the minions. So my thing is, if you're sitting there at $60 million to make Despicable Me and it's making you shit ton of money, you're gonna get stuck on that mentality of like, you know, I don't need to do any better. And seeing this movie now and kind of the budget on that, it could be just a money grab. Hey, let me throw some shit out there about ducks real quick for $60 million. See if I can make a return for $100 million.
Can I ask just a quick question just for all of you guys?
Sure.
Does Disney use the same directors and show writers or movie writers?
Different.
It's all different. Like there's not like
that brings up a fact. The Studio Ghibli. Just imagine if they started doing that and just contracting out and having them perform or make more movies. They made The Boy and the Heron. I think it was this year, and that thing did a crap load, like $98 million.
Yeah.
So that's a win.
They usually have different. They have different writers and different directors, you know, working on different projects, but it's still within their own circle, so to speak. They keep on rotating.
Like Brad Bird, for example, he did multiple movies with Pixar. You have Chris Buck, who did Frozen and a bunch of other ones. Like, yeah, you're right, George. I mean, each movie has a different director or whatever and writer, but they reuse a lot of the same folks. For these films.
So my question to you guys is, do you think the person who, you know, approves of all these movies that are coming out, do you think it's the person approving and denying these movies that is, you know, putting out this not good quality movies? Like, I feel like for instance, like George Lucas, he's not the one calling the shots anymore, or he's not the one calling the shots, but what's her name? Catherine.
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, she's, you know, approving movies and proving shit, and we've seen, you know, what she's been putting out. Do you think that's the same thing happening for Disney, you know, animation movies?
It can't be just one person. You need a board of people. It has to be people from different demographics and different ages, and you just can't have this old fart being like, hey, you know what?
Exactly.
This is going to be a great movie. Dude, times change. I get that. At the same time, like, we can't have certain people that are no longer with the Disney company choosing to change things about things, if you guys get what I'm saying. Like, there has to be multiple people being able to help and vote on this, not just one person.
No, I 100% agree. I do think, though, with The only thing that, yeah, I agree with you. The only thing is that I think that Alan Horn was a genius, and when he left, I think it really did hurt Disney. He left around, I think he left around 2020 when Chapek left, and that guy was brilliant. And I think that his insight, because Bob Iger pulled him out of retirement. He used to be a Warner Brothers guy, and he pulled him out of retirement, all but begged the guy to come over to Disney. He came over to Disney, and they had a huge winning streak. And then he left, and then the wheels started falling off again. They got to find another Alan Horn or someone like that. Like, because you're right, Candid. I think it's a group of people, but I think that you also need like one person or leadership that's kind of good enough to kind of know how to at least steer the ship in the right direction, And they're missing that right now. I mean, it's crazy, I mean, Disney had a pretty bad year, to say the least.
You can't just say, "Hey, would you watch this?" and someone says yes. Like, you need to say, "Will you watch this multiple times?" That's what we're missing. Like, it's cool to see these. There's a lot of movies right now that are just one-time watches, one-hit wonders. We need that multiple times. And you know what? The last movie I actually watched that was Disney that I could watch multiple times, that's from the newer time frame, is Luca. I can watch Luca all the time. I love Luca, and I'm actually excited that they're bringing it to the movie theaters. I'm going to bring my son to the movies to go see it. Like, even though we have it here on the platform, I want to bring him to the movie to see it because it deserved a theatrical release.
What do you guys think about that, by the way? Like, they're taking the pandemic era movies, so Luca, Soul, I think Turning Red, and putting them into theaters. Is that a smart move? What do you think, George? Is that a smart move to do that?
I mean, me personally, I think that they deserved to at least have a shot in the theater. I don't know if it's really Disney's having high expectations for them to do like banger numbers, but I mean, there's a possibility where, just to kind of showcase these movies that didn't get a chance at the movie theaters. I mean, this is not even comparing apples to oranges, but it's even like, just as an example, when James Cameron decided to re-release the first Avatar movie to get ready for The Way of Water, it still brought in sustainable numbers,
Avatar, though, dude.
But that's what I just said. I'm not comparing apples to oranges. I'm saying, like, as an example, that I think Disney wants to maybe kind of get a feel as a sense of the demographic that would still, like you just mentioned, Candid, you want to take your son to have that experience of Luca in the theater. Maybe that's what Disney wants to see. They want to see that data. They want to see those numbers. So maybe that can kind of flesh out to say, are these kind of movies actually worth releasing in theaters? So maybe it's maybe not necessarily to make essentially the money quota, but more so as an experiment to see, can they get people into the theaters?
Let's piggyback off that now. I'm going to ask you, George, do you think, like, saying that it is a way to see what the future holds, do you think they'll switch over to just having those, we'll call them third-party Pixar movies, and leave those for the platform, and then get the big Pixar movies, like the Toy Stories and the
I think so. I think this is where they want to see where they stand, because
if
they
with them
don't
releasing all three at the same time, though.
Is that what they're doing? Are they releasing all at the same time?
Like. It made it sound like they're just gonna
I think they were doing like a week, or either like a week or a couple weeks, or even a month later.
I would kind of space them out a little bit. I would not release all of them together. That's like over. I think. Well,
what do they have to lose? They have nothing to lose. Like they're putting in a movie that didn't have a chance to be in theaters. They're just putting it in theaters. The movie's made. The movie's been out.
Tony knows me. What was the last time I went to a fucking movie theater? I haven't been in the movie theater in probably like 10 years.
Since high school.
Wait. So that would actually be your first movie back? Luca, like if you take your son, that would be your, wow.
Mm-hmm. And of course, amazing. It's not for me. I'd do it for my son.
But exactly. I think but that's what I'm saying. So just think, like, there could be other parents like you that say that they want to give their child like that movie-going experience of movies that didn't make it to the theater. So again, maybe that's where Disney wants to see. Like, they'll collect obviously the revenue, that's extra. But I think it's more of a sort of like a type of survey. so to speak, to kind of see where these movies stand. But just as you said, Camper, if it doesn't go so well, those may be the kind of movies that just go to like direct stream, and then like this heavy hitter movies like the Toy Story franchise, the Zootopia, the Frozen, they'll make it to the theaters. But that's where I still think that Disney would benefit that premiere access on the streaming if they just
100%.
wanted to release that.
100% agree with you.
I actually don't agree. The only reason why I don't agree is because they're using a movie that's already been out on a platform that people have. Because
you talk about future.
No. Future movies like if they were to make a movie like another Luca or another Turning Red, and they just want to release it on the streaming, not in theaters, but release it on a date. But the only way that you can get it is through Premiere Access.
But the data is going to be invalid because of the movie already having been out already, is what I'm saying. Because they're using a movie that was previously seen by tons of people on the platform.
Use exactly what you're saying. Now you have all 3 movies come out week apart, whatever, blah blah, and you categorize them and put the revenue on each one, and you show that, say, Turning Red does 100 million for some fucking crazy reason, and then Luke only did like 40 million. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to re-release all your other movies because you still made $140 million?
Tones, before you answer that, Candid, I just have to to your comment. If Turning Red makes $100 million, I guarantee you there are too many narcotics out in this world. I'm sorry.
I did not like that movie.
I hated that movie.
I could not stand it. I'm sorry.
Once I saw they were releasing it, I was like, yeah, well, there's the fucking one you didn't have to do. So, cool.
You know what's funny too about that movie, man? It's funny because they made this whole big thing about representation, right? Like Asian representation, right? And my ex-girlfriend at the time, we watched it together, and she's Asian, and she was like,
and here's the thing, I love the notion of having Asian representation, but create a story that I could fucking understand.
Yes, and then she was saying that it was almost offensive how stereotypical it was. And I was like, that's interesting, right? Because the controlling Asian mom, the whole thing, it was like, she was like, it's a little kind of it's like almost like offensively stereotypical. So it's like, it's funny because Disney's going in there and they're trying to like make this like, trying to do the inclusive thing, which is great, right? But you have to do it in a way that's respectful. Like that movie was like, for me, I don't know but some of the. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I kid you not, OG. I swear to God, and I am my right hand on a stack of Bibles. When I saw that first teaser trailer of Turning Red, I saw that cryptic type of messaging that movie was leading off with. When girls hit a certain age, certain things happen. I knew.
He said it's about her period. It's about her period. He called it.
I did way before, and it was like, and I'll be damned. And then the mom says, "Do you need a hot towel? Do you need a tampon? Do you need like?" I'm thinking, what the hell in a Pixar movie? Like, really?
And the animation on that was fucking weird. Like their bodies were like, it was just fucking weird, man. Yeah. Everyone looked strange. It did not look like a Pixar movie at all.
No, it looks really funky. It was for me. I felt it was very obnoxious. Like it was too, especially the first like 25 minutes, half an hour, way too hyperactive. Like things were just flying at you, and I'm like, whoa, slow down a little bit. Tell a story. I don't need to like have everything at once. I did not like that movie at all, which is surprising because a lot of the recent Pixar movies, even though they didn't really do well, I love them. Like Luca, amazing. I really enjoyed Soul. I thought that was great.
You know what I've been enjoying lately, and it's a little off topic because it's more on the show side. Is those the Diaries of a Wimpy Kid? Have you watched the new one?
No, I've never seen any of them.
Oh, like the newer, like the aren't they releasing?
They just did
a Christmas one. Yeah,
yes, yeah. So I think it came out yesterday, or the day before. It's so good, and they're funny, they're hilarious, and it actually gives like the kids or the young teens like the guidance of being a child. It's pretty cool. They're very interesting. I recommend them. But yeah, I think that's the way we should be doing things. And look at that animation. That animation is not like, I don't see anything else like that. And it's different and it stands out.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. I mean, it's crazy. But I agree with you, Tones, man. There's they don't have with re-releasing these movies in theaters. They have nothing to lose. The money was already spent, right? The movie is already done. They don't have to really market even that much because you just throw it in theaters and you make 10 million on each one. Okay,
so
well,
devil's
that's 10 million
avocado
you wouldn't
analogy.
What was that?
So Devil's Avocado on this one. They see
Okay.
themselves making this $10 million. Now they just fucking throw everything at you because they don't have. So think of it this way: they will re-release a movie every month to have something in theater, and only do it limited time release for 1 month. What happens when you start doing that?
Wait,
Right.
wait. Now, can I ask you fellas this? At the
Sure.
time when they do release these movies, do they temporarily go off of Disney Plus?
Oh shit!
Oh,
Okay.
that's a question. I bet you they do, George.
Not unless
I
you're
bet
a
you
Disney
do.
plus member, though.
Let me ask you guys this though: who the fuck uses Devil's Avocado, dude? Who the fuck uses that?
This
That's,
guy.
that's the count, Michael Bisping. Yeah,
Wait,
It's
who?
better than
Michael
Devil's
Bisping,
Parmesan,
the
though.
dude. Oh, shit. Get fiery out there. You know,
Now,
I don't know.
Tones. Let me ask you this. Going back to the premiere access. Now, you were just like mentioning about like the movies that would like be re-released, that was already out. But for newer content that was never seen before, that was never out in theaters, they're just going to release it on Disney Plus. Are you into saying, hey, you know what, if you want to see this brand new movie that was never out, it's going to be premiering just exclusively on Disney Plus, but you have to pay the premiere access. Are you for that?
Yeah, hell yeah. If that means I don't have to take, for instance, I'll take my niece and nephew to go see this movie and pack up things to go to the movie, drive there. For me, it would be an hour to go see a movie at a movie theater. I would have to drive an hour, pay for gas on the way there and back, feed my two niece and nephew, feed them there, and then after probably get ice cream because they always want something else. And I can't.
Were you about to call them pigs?
Here's about
No, picky.
Oh, picky. Okay, I thought I literally heard it too.
They are pigs too. They eat like fucking pigs. But yeah, it just, if I could pay that, whatever it is to watch that on Disney Plus, hell yeah.
Yeah.
No question.
Me
They
too,
can-
man.
they
I'm
can
with you
raid
on
the
that.
fridge during
I'm
the
all
movie.
about. Yeah, I'm all about watching shit from home, dude. When they did the premiere access, I did a bunch of them. I did Mulan, Raya the Last Dragon, the Jungle Cruise movie, a bunch of them.
I
loved
did.
it. It was like
I did
$20.
Cruella was definitely. I think Cruella was one.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay,
Cruella was one.
because that was the one that really, like, out of
So
every
good.
single movie that I purchased, like, that one was worth every nickel and dime.
Such a great movie.
I love that
That's
movie,
so
and
good.
I mean, it's just gravy
Yeah.
just to look at Emma Stone, but
There you go. I
How
just,
how often does a movie come out in theaters and it be on Disney Plus? Like, what's from when it stops being in theaters to when it has released?
I don't really
depends
think they
on
have
how
a
it looks, man.
distinct date. I think it's just more so depending on how much money.
Indy just got
week
on
to
there, and
week.
that wasn't out. I feel like that wasn't out that long before they switched it over. But some of the Star Wars were in theaters for way longer before they showed up on Disney.
See, that's what kills them is releasing it as soon as it comes out of theaters, because people are gonna be like, okay, a day comes comes off of theaters, it's gonna be on Disney Plus, so I'm gonna wait.
So
You know
what
what
if
I'm
you
saying?
do
Right.
movie theaters for 2 months, then Disney Plus as a premium access for 2 months, and then free release after that? So you're
That might
making
work.
double
Beautiful.
Yeah,
profit.
Disney's a little bit too lenient when it comes to
Exactly.
that stuff, and people know it. They got so used to that pattern, so now kind of Disney kind of dug themselves into a hole, and it's like they have to double down on it. It's like, no, we are not putting it on Disney Plus for free. It's either you go to the theater, or if you can't or you don't want to, fine, we'll release it on the streaming service. But here you
Well,
have
here
to pay
comes
the
the ads,
premiere.
though.
Yeah,
And by the
Here
way,
comes
we're
the ads.
as watchers, we're not complaining that we're getting the movie on Disney Plus like as soon as it comes out of theaters. As watchers, we
Right.
love that. But for Disney to, like, in a business aspect, Disney's messing up because of what
Yeah.
they're
exactly. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
need
because
to
if
read
you're
it
a
from
family,
fucking
you
Smart.
just wait 6 weeks and it'll be on your Disney Plus app.
Like, we love
And
it.
Yeah, we love it. I am a long time advocate for the stay at home experience. I prefer it.
Let me tell you something. I came up with this. So I'm in my 30s. I go and see a Disney movie. Who the fuck am I going to go talk to about it? You nerds? That's it. And do you really think, hey, OG, bro, I just got out of the movie theaters. Guess what I just saw? I saw fucking Luca in the movie theaters. I'm not going to call you up and tell you that shit. So me waiting 6 weeks. To
Oh,
see a
hell,
movie,
I do.
I don't need to be. Yeah, well, Duh. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
You're on the Orange Girl 55 show. You have to be that person. Like I'm borderline teetering on that. I'm not gonna lie, but you guys are my inner circle and Twitter. Come on, like as a 35-year-old man or 34-year-old man, I don't need to go right away and see something to be in the group of talking about it. So I'm okay waiting.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I mean, it's not for you because this is part of my like demographic now that I'm a single guy. I kid you not. Any woman that I speak to, and when I tell them, "Oh, I just got done seeing a Disney movie and everything," they like that kind of vulnerability.
Oh, he's so sweet. He can be a family man. He can watch movies with my kids. Like that. Is that the vibe you're going for right now, George?
Oh no. I'm going through another vibe, but I mean, I'm just saying that that's. But I find it so easy to actually start off a conversation with a woman because it seems like, it's something in a way that they can relate to, whether they have kids or not.
George, let me tell you something, dude. You will have no issue having a conversation with a human or a fucking foreign life form from any other fucking outer space. You don't need to see a Disney movie to do that, buddy.
Oh no! I know that. I could. No, I'm just saying it's just funny that when I bring that subject up,
it's a panty dropper.
They like it. Yeah. It definitely is.
Disney movies equals panty dropper.
Yeah. I'll just
to bring them out afterwards, George. You got it.
I'll say this.
That White style.
I'll just say this because, as I said, like it was a long freaking day. I have like a bad freaking headache, but I'm not gonna say like specifics. But I'll just say if getting on a conversation about a Disney movie with a woman can definitely cure a headache. It could definitely go to when I talk to a woman.
Yeah. Like when you bring up Aristocrat.
I'm trying to think like. Well, I mean, I did talk to a couple women like when I saw Wish in theaters, and they were intrigued because they didn't see it, so they were like, oh, what'd you think of it, would you like, what's, and I got into the conversation. But if I bring up like anything and then they get onto oh, you like animation, you like Disney, I say yeah, and I tell them I'm on a YouTube channel. I tell them that that's actually a funny story that I actually got out here in Pennsylvania. I actually called OG and I had to tell him this in person, that I literally had someone recognize me from YouTube while I was at work.
Yeah. This Japanese woman. She comes up to him.
Yeah.
Oh no. Tell the story, George.
So she comes up to me, and now, folks, please do not get offended because I'm not making fun of her, but I just have to.
Too late for me to get out of this.
I have to say this of how because she had a thick accent. So please do not take offensive of this. So when she approached me, she was wearing a Pixar hoodie, and I said, and it had the green aliens on it, and I said, "Oh, I love your hoodie." And she said thank you and everything, and she was asking me about because she buys a lot of Disney ornaments, and she was asking me a question or something, and then I was answering, and as I was talking to her, she was looking at me, and she said, again, folks, please do not take offense of this. She goes, "Oh, I know you on YouTube." And I said, yeah, I am on YouTube. And then she was asking me all questions like, I'm thinking of going on a Disney cruise soon, and like, what is your so she's asking me all these questions. So
she knew exactly who to fucking ask too, bro.
Yeah. That's what I said. She watches the channel, so apparently all the way over here in Pennsylvania, like and OG was like, that is like the weirdest freaking spot to find find someone who watches the channel.
Because we've been recognized at Disneyland, I get that though, because that's going to be like who we kind of our audience, right? You're gonna have the locals or people that might watch it and be there. That I understand, but you're out in Pennsylvania, bro, at work. That's crazy.
So do we wave to her right now because she's watching this episode?
There we go.
Yeah, she's probably watching.
Thank you for watching.
Yes. And as I said before, that was probably a very bad interpretation of her. I'm not making fun of her her accent or everything. It was just the way that she said. She was actually kind of cute, but it's
Here we go. This is George shooting a shot.
Hey, let me ask you this: does that make you famous now?
I think it's George.
I guess so. I mean, probably
George
over here because there's nothing. Yeah, because there's nothing going on over here. Like there's like.
Famous.
Well, you got recognized that one time too, like waiting for the Incredible
at Disneyland. Yeah, at Disneyland. Yeah, I was in line for Radiator Springs, and this woman was with her daughter, who her daughter's birthday was the next day. She was having a Mad Tea Party themed birthday party. She was turning 11, and again, I'm standing in line. We're talking and everything, and she actually said, "Are you on YouTube? Or are you some kind of vlogger?" And I said, "Well, I don't vlog in the parks, but I said I do YouTube. It's like a round table discussion." I said, "Have you ever heard of the channel Orange Grove 55?" And she said, "Oh yeah." She said, "I'm subscribed to that channel. I watch that channel all the time." And she said, "Oh, you're balls to the wall, aren't you?"
Oh shit! Nice.
That's so funny.
So I got recognized twice on both coasts. Oh no! And then the other time was actually a cast member actually recognized both me and OG.
Yeah,
we were coming off of I think it was It was either Pinocchio or Snow White, and he called out Citrus Corner, Orange Grove 55, and then he ended up escorting us onto Peter Pan's flight. We got to skip the line.
You're famous.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking famous.
I got a video actually of George with that time. Remember that time that cast member said, "Hey, are you the Italiano?" And you replied with this.
Yeah, buddy.
I can see that happening too, especially with those glasses on.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Oh yeah. See, yeah. When I go full-fledged Italian, man, it's like, yeah.
I love, dude. Like watching your show, watching you guys do what you do. Like, it's amazing, but it's always different when Candid and I are on here because we go certain ways that a lot of your guests don't go, and I fucking love it.
I feel bad sometimes.
Awesome.
I know, dude.
I'm like, fuck, this is not what the show's about. What makes it worse is in the beginning, OG was like, "This is a show strictly about the movie." And like you emphasize, the fucking camera zoomed in on you, and here we are talking about fucking sriracha.
Exactly. Man. It's great though. It's great. That's why we love you guys. Yeah. We take these conversations in very interesting directions.
We're humans.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Humans being human.
Exactly. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. It was a fantastic conversation as usual. Tones, I will start with you, brother. If you could remind everybody at home where they can find you on social media, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Love being here. If you guys are interested in following me, go to Tones_TV on all platforms. Like I said, follow Candid Camper and I's podcast, Bad Thoughts Podcast on YouTube and Spotify.
There it is. And right next to him is the Candid Camper. Candid, if you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Yeah, definitely. The Candid Camper on YouTube, the Candid Camper on X.
Twitter.
There it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Twitter, X. They're the same thing. And the Candid Camper with an extra R on Instagram. I don't know how to use my Instagram. If you want to send me a message on there, send me a message. I'll figure it out. Just give me some time to respond. Oh, one thing I do want to do is shout out to Gator fan. Gator's amazing. Gator will never join us on any of these shows because he's too good for us. Just throwing it out there. But if you ever see him on Twitter, shout him out. Just check him out a little bit, man. He has some great. Dude's just fucking awesome. He's just awesome.
Yeah. No, Gator fans are friends of the channel. He's really cool. He's out there in Florida, and he's
he has a lot of opinions.
Passionate.
I love his opinion. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the word. Passionate.
Passion. Yeah, he loves Florida. He loves Florida. He loves that resort, and that's awesome. But yeah, shout out to Gator fan. Absolutely, friend of the channel. The Italiano.
But sometimes you do have to be careful because sometimes that passion may come across as being constipation.
Yeah, constipation.
Gator.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes you just never know which one you're gonna get. Laughs like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, exactly. You never know.
Anthony knows all about that red monster.
So George, you're gonna have us drop our panties and talk animation with us, or what?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
If you can let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. if you'd like to follow me, you could do so on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also I'm sorry. God, jeez. Okay. You can also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Wait, before we end, OG, can you tell the people where they can find you?
You can find me right here on Orange Grove 55 with these gentlemen. You can also find me on Instagram at Orange Grove 55. You can also find me on X, Orange Grove 55. As long as Twitter's still around, we'll see how long that lasts with Elon running the show. But hey, I'm there. I'm going down with the ship. I'll be there as long as it lasts. So we'll see. Yeah. But thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below with all your thoughts on everything we talked about today. We would love to hear from you in regards to, you know, box office with animation, whether it be the gaming and the shopping over on Disney Plus. We'd love to hear all your opinions down below. Subscribe to these guys, the Bad Thoughts Podcast and the Bad Thoughts Studio, which does a lot of like movie and like film stuff, like nerdy stuff. Check those out as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, everybody.